Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Today I'm here to share with you a little box that I made for these super cute Land O'Lakes cocoa that I purchased. Look at how cute my boxes are. I love them. And I'll show you the hot cocoa. Got them at the commissary. So they come in like 4 or 5 different flavors. I got the caramel, supreme chocolate. There's a mint one. There is a raspberry. There's a hazelnut, something or other. But I got these because the colors match the paper collection. They come out with these every year. I don't know if you can get them at Walmart or anything. I get them on base, so I honestly don't know. But I think they're delicious. And I did a box. I know that I love doing these boxes. You guys have seen me do the box a million times. But I kind of just changed it up a little bit by adding a window. So you can, put whatever snacks you want in here. This is about the size of a Hershey bar. So you could probably put that in there. It'll be a little wobbly in there, but that's okay. You can add whatever you want. Maybe you can put a whole bunch of teas in there. You can put, I don't know, whatever you want in there. Just as a nice little gift. And so we're going to go ahead and do the box. All right, let's see. I don't know why I'm putting that away. The paper collection I'm using is Welcome Autumn by Cartabella. Now, I have 2 examples. This one I used cardstock. Okay. And this one I just used the paper from the paper collection. If you're only going to make 1 or 2 and you want to use certain scraps, then go ahead and do the cardstock. If you're making these for a craft fair or something like that, use the paper. It's so much easier. It's faster. This is also a good way to use the papers that you necessarily are not inspired by, or you don't know what to do with, or you just have leftover and you just want to use up the paper collection, because you do need a piece of 8 by 8. So, it is a pretty big piece, but it works out. Okay, so you need a piece of either cardstock or cardstock weight designer paper at 8 by 8. Okay. Now, I did go ahead and do the measurements and everything for the cutting on a white piece of paper so you can see that better, because I do recognize that on a black pattern, you're not going to be able to see the cut lines. But I want to show you on the pattern paper what to do if you have a directional paper. So if you do it on cardstock, it doesn't matter, because obviously the cardstock is the same on both sides. But if you're using regular paper, then you need to pay attention to direction. Okay, sorry, there's a little extra glue on the side, so I just erased it. All right, so piece of 8 by 8. All right, so if you're using directional paper, what we want to do is put the top of the paper to the left of the scoreboard. Okay, so you're looking like this. Your top of your paper needs to be up against your corner. Okay, and we're gonna score at
okay, but first you'll have to unlock your device.
Random phone talking to me. Cool. Okay, we're gonna score at a half. I gotta turn my board. I can't score straight up and down. It has to be at an angle. All right, so at a ½ inch, 1 inch, 7 inches, and 7.5. Okay, so top of your paper to the left, ½ inch, 1 inch, 7 inch, 7.5. All right, now we're going to rotate it to where your paper is the correct way. So you want the top of your paper at the top of your board, the bottom of your paper at the bottom of your board. And you're going to score it at half. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm using the score thing that I'm actually allergic to, so my hand is burning. Okay, I thought it would be quick and I'd be fine, but apparently I wasn't. It took me 25 minutes to find this thing. Anyway, so we scored at 1/2 inch. Now we need to do 3 3/4. So 3 3/4. 4 1/4. So 4 1/4. And 7 1/2. 7 1/2. Actually, you can kind of see these score lines pretty nicely. But anyway, so 1/2 inch, 3 3/4, 4 1/4, 7 1/2. All right, that's all we need. I'm going to put my score tool somewhere where I will remember. All right, we're going to do our cutting the same as we would any of the 9 million boxes you have seen me make. I wrote it upside down. It doesn't matter. So we scored at 1/2 inch, 3/4, 4 1/4, 7 1/2. Okay. We don't need from one side. It doesn't matter which side you do it from, the left or the right. It doesn't matter. Typically, I cut from the right just because that's what I do. So I would cut like this. I mean, it doesn't matter. So we don't need any of these boxes, and we don't need any of these boxes up here. So like you see here, this is what it looks like if it's scored. We're going to cut all of this off. So we don't need your square, we don't need your square, we don't need this rectangle, we don't need this rectangle on both sides, and we don't need this square here. Okay, that's how it's going to be. So you'll cut up on your right side, or whatever side you want to start with, and you're going to cut up here. You're going to cut up that line, cut the box off, and do the same for the top, right? Okay, so we're going to cut up, cut all of that off. We're going to cut up, cut that first square off. So you have something that looks like this. We're going to cut up the score line, and we're going to cut that first box off. Okay, same thing on the other side. Cut up that score line, cut off that first box. Okay, so you have something that looks like this. Or if you cut off the left side, it's gonna look like this. Doesn't matter. As long as you have the 2 rectangles and your 2 flaps on either side, you're good to go. And then you're gonna take and you're gonna miter this side here. That's all by itself. And you're gonna miter your tabs very slightly. Just take a tiny chunk out. This box you may not have to because it's only 1/2 inch, but I always miter mine. Same thing. Just a little tiny sliver. That was a bit more than a sliver, but that's okay. And sliver and sliver. Okay. Like so. So you have something that looks like this. We're going to round our corners with whatever you have, whatever corner rounder you have. Chomp those corners. On both sides. And we're good. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do this to the black one so you can see. Again, I'm just cutting up the score line. And I'm going to cut these boxes off, or rectangles. I'm going to cut up the square. I don't know why I'm so shaky today, but I'm very shaky. And I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to miter just ever so slightly there. I'm going to go ahead and, this is where I was having trouble scoring. I need to know which line was the correct line to cut on. And cut this here. I'm gonna cut that off. Okay, and then the same on this side. Lighter, and then this side I'm going to go ahead and, oh yeah, I cut that one wrong. That's okay. Not wrong, but I didn't get exact where I needed it to be. And that. Okay. So we're good. I'm just going to have to trim on this side a little bit where I didn't catch that line. It's okay. Alright, so there we go. Oh, I didn't miter my corners. And miter. I need to miter these two down here. So that one I did miter. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and corner chop. I can already tell this is going to be a little bit off because I did not cut enough off that side, but I'm going to show you what that means. And this one probably too, but that's okay. Sometimes it's hard to see your score lines on such busy paper, but it's very easy to fix. Alright, so I need to miter my corners down here. Now I'm going to go ahead, and the most important step is to varnish, especially with these thicker papers. Anytime you're making a box, this is the step you do not skip, no matter what. No matter what order you do it in, but you don't skip it. Some people like to varnish before they cut. To me, it doesn't matter which way. Just get it done. And one last piece. There we go. Okay. Now, what we want to do is take our edge that does not have the flats and just cut a very small sliver off this edge. It just helps with closing your box. If you don't do this part, it's not going to be a hassle. You're just going to spend more time trying to line it up. So just this tiny little 1/8 of an inch probably. So that way, when you go to fold your box over, look at that, it just matches cleanly. But we're not going to fold our box over because we need to make our window. I use the postage stamps, these things, dies. I don't know where it came from. It was gifted to me. So it just came like this, no numbers or anything like that. You can use any frame you want. What I did was I just centered it as best as I could. What's going to be my front? Your front is going to be the side that has your flaps. Or, I mean, honestly, you could do it. It doesn't matter which way you want your front or your back. It's just, I like it where my opening is in the back, like that. Okay, if you accidentally put your frame on this side, it's okay. It'll just open to the front. It's not a big deal. So just line it up in the center as best as I can. And I don't use any special tape. I just use regular sticky tape. But what I do is when I peel it off, I just go like this. And you guys know how once you get your fingerprints on there, it still sticks, but it's not like a full stick. And so I use that instead of like buying the expensive sticky tape, you know, like the Post-it note tape or whatever the other tape is. I just use, you know, that. Alright, so for me, I have the switch, and so this fits perfectly on my plates. I don't have to do anything else. If you do not have the switch, and you're using a smaller platform, you are going to have to either fold this over, you know, to get it in there. Now, it does leave the indentation if you fold it over. So what I would suggest is you fold it over, add another little piece of paper or something in there so you don't get that indentation on the back of your box. I wasn't too worried about it. Some people may be worried about it. I don't know, but I wasn't. I didn't care. So, all right, I'm going to run this through. Okay. If you are using the cardstock with the pattern paper, mat your pattern paper first before you run it through, and you're going to have to probably run it through like 2 times, maybe 3 times, because of the trying to cut through, so, you know, the too thick papers. So that's just my advice. Now you have this gorgeous little cutout that you can use for a different project, or you can even make a little note card out of this, like a 3x3 note card. This is just shy of 3x3, so this would be perfect on a cover. So for the outline frame, I just used the same die to cut out, and then I just layered the next size down, in the middle, and I ran it through like that. Oh my gosh, I'm all stuck here. So that's how I did the frame. It's just that piece and that piece together. Okay, easy stuff. You guys should know that. All right, so now what we need to do is get our piece of acetate. Any acetate will work, and mine is somewhere on this desk. And you want your 1/8 of an inch score tape, or whatever you're going to use to glue your acetate down in. So what I did is, obviously I'm going to flip it over, and on those tiny little sides, I'm going to add my score tape here. And then on the long sides, I'm going to add my score tape on the actual acetate. I don't think it matters, but that's just what I do, so that way I have score tape on the acetate and the papers. I don't know, it just made me feel better, so that's what I did. And we're just gonna remove, oh, what I meant to tell you is before you glue down your acetate, make sure your box works. Make sure it, you know, you measured correctly and it will actually close. You don't have to add the adhesive. You know, to make sure that it closes. All right, what am I doing here? I can't really see at this angle because where my camera is and where I am. Okay, there we go. Just lay your acetate. No need to cover it. I mean, as you can see, if it's a pattern, you're not going to see it. The box is going to be closed anyway. Alright, what I meant by make sure your box works, just kind of line it up to make sure that it is indeed going to close correctly, which mine did. I think I did check it earlier, but I don't know. Alright, I'm just going to use score tape to close it. You can use wet glue if you want. Okay. So if you want to decorate yours flat, you can do it flat, or you can go ahead and seal your box. For me, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to seal the box. Make sure there's no overhang and line it up. So, like I said in the million videos, I do my boxes any old which way. Sometimes I'll line them up like this, which as you can see takes a lot longer for me to get it done. But sometimes I know I measured this one off, and so if I try to lay it down, it's not coming quite nicely because I measured off, but that's okay. I'll just force it. There you go. See how that's not completely flat? Because I measured a little bit off, but we're not going to throw this whole entire thing away because I was 1/8 of an inch off, or I skipped on my line or whatever. You're just going to force it to line up. No one's going to know. Okay? They're not going to know. Then I'm just going to make sure that it does work. So that went in there. Now, this is what I was talking about where I knew this was going to be a problem. See how that's not going in there? It's because I did not cut enough off on the side. And so it's slightly too big. All you need to do is come in and cut that sliver off, okay? You can re-corn around it if you choose to. And now it should fit. It's still a little off, so go back in, cut a little bit more, and mine is off because I misscored it. It is not a big deal. Just cut off little tiny bits at a time so you don't accidentally cut too much off. And there you go. See? Simples. I don't craft hard. I craft easy. Now, your choice if you want to seal the bottom. I sealed the bottoms on these ones just because I accidentally put score tape on one of them. So I said, you know what? I'm going to seal all of them. You don't have to, but if you want to, this is what you do. You'll put score tape on it and you'll seal it, but I need to decorate first. See how mine doesn't lay flat when I turn it? That is okay. It is not going to ruin anything. Just so you know. It'll just be a little less flat while you're decorating. Who cares? I don't. I do need my 1/8 of an inch score tape that I just put away. So what I did is I just took my frame and I used my score tape. I used 1/8 of an inch so I didn't have to fight in between these two designs. You could use your 1/4 inch, whatever you want. And it looks nice without a frame, so if you're making a ton of these for a craft show, you can skip this step if you want, because it still looks really nice without a frame. I just like the frame idea. See, it'll still look really nice without the frame. You can see a little bit more, but I'm going to put the frame in. These are very easy to assembly line, so like one night when your show's on, you can make all the frames, and then the next night you can cut all of your 8x8 pieces of paper, and then the next night score everything. Or, you know, if you do this on your lunch break, like how I used to do, you know, when I only have a 30-minute lunch break, you do each step and you're good. Alright, so I just lined it up and just put it down. That's it. So your box is done. If you, like I said, if you wanted to seal your bottom, put that score tape on there, or your wet glue, or whatever you're going to use, and seal it. Take your ruler and just make sure it's in there flat. There you go, and your box is sealed. Okay, put in your little, I might do the mint in this one. Oh, okay, so this is what I forgot on this box. I'm gonna have to go back and fix it. I forgot to measure where I wanted it to fall. Excuse me. So yeah, I wanted this window to fall where you could see the cocoa, which was 1 1/4 inches. But as you can see, I did not do that. So I don't think it looks bad. It just doesn't look like the others. But that's okay. Here is the other flavor. It does match for the most part. So I'm going to put that in there. and it just says, so you see the mint chocolate chip. You can, if you want to take the time to make your finger pull, absolutely take your 3/4 inch punch, go about halfway, punch it out. As you can see, it doesn't matter if you do it when the box is put together or when the box is not put together. It does not matter. And there you have it, guys. Now you're going to decorate this with whatever you want. I just used random stickers. I'm going to go with fall calls and these pumpkins. Okay. So I'll back these on just cardstock, cut it out, and then just pop it up with pop dots. But that's it, guys. Like I said, if you want the windows to fit perfectly, measure 1 1/4 inches down and then put your frame on there. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.